you a songwriter? Are you looking to turn your songwriting passion into a full-time gig? Whether you are just at the start of your songwriting journey or a seasoned industry professional, this show is made for you. Welcome to The Songwriter Show, bringing together songwriting news, interviews, and community. Now, welcome your host, Sarantos.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Songwriter Show. I'm your humble host, Sarantos, a solo music artist and songwriter who's always believed in the power of words. Here on The Songwriter Show, every single Tuesday evening on Reality Radio 101, we bring you behind the scenes with some of today's most inspiring songwriters, giving you a little glimpse into the stories that shaped their songs. Tonight, I'm so excited to have Danny Griego on the show. Danny is a Texas-based country singer-songwriter who blends outlaw country, cowboy Americana, and Latin influences into a sound that's uniquely his own.
And now, welcome this week's special guest.
Welcome to the show, Danny. How are you?
Sarantos, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, man. I checked out some of your stuff, man. Sounds cool. So I'm excited to have you on the show tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here.
Tell us a little bit about how old were you when you just had to start singing and playing a guitar or making music, man?
Well, my mom tells me that I used to walk down the road from kindergarten singing Elvis and Tanya Tucker at the top of my lungs. I don't remember any of that, really. I really pretty much don't remember life before about 7. You know, the music thing for me, I really wasn't in the scene or doing anything. My granddad had left me his gut string guitar. He was a songwriter and a cowboy. And back in the day when I was in college, I was on a fishing trip to eastern Arizona, and I was struck by lightning, and it stopped my heart and paralyzed my right arm. And the neurosurgeon told me that if I picked up a classical guitar and numbered my fingers and learned how to classically pick, that it would rebuild a lot of things for me. So that's what I did, and that's what got me into it.
That's very cool, man. I mean, not the getting hit by lightning, but the story's cool. Tell us a little bit about how much time you spend with your guitar on a daily basis.
Well, I'm a Texas rancher. I'm up here in Weatherford, Texas, and I spend most of my day with horses and tending to the things on the ranch. And I do equine therapy out here for veterans, mostly special forces warriors. So, you know, really for me, when we book out shows, a lot of times I'm the only guy that I'm working with that I haven't heard of, you know, a bunch of Grammy Award winners and wonderful players around me. I'll force myself to woodshed, and, you know, it doesn't matter if I haven't played in a couple of days or a couple months. I'll lock myself down and go through all the material and get everything where it needs to be, you know.
Okay. Do you have, like, in your neighborhood or town, like, what's your fondest musical memory?
Well, you know, there's been a lot of wonderful entertainers and songwriters that came out of Texas. One of them that was a big influence on me was actually, there's 2 massive influences in my life from the state of Texas. One of them is Waylon Jennings, and I did the last duet with Waylon, a song that I wrote called At the Crossroads, that he heard and wanted to record with me, and so he showed up in the studio one day. And the other one is a South Texas gentleman named Ray Charles, and I just love Ray's singing. He's probably my favorite singer.
You influenced by any old records or vinyl?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Probably the biggest influence was Wanted the Outlaws was a big influence on my life, and for songwriting and production. And then the Poncho and Lefty album, that was a really big one too.
Do you perform pretty frequently in public?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do shows all over the place. You know, mostly we're opening up for people doing stadium shows. I do smaller shows for veterans, and we get asked from time to time to go do a concert for veterans, and I usually just say yes and then figure out how I'm going to pull it off, you know. The sponsorship, I don't like turning those guys down, you know, but you know how it is. When you hit a certain level, the guys that you work with, they're expensive to cover their travel and their salaries, and, you know, it costs a lot to push that machine down the road. It just gets more and more expensive as you get on up there. So a lot of times you say yes, and then you're in the hole $10,000, $15,000 after the show's over. But it's for a good cause, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you ever get nervous before a performance? Or are you kind of over that?
You know, I've been over that for a long time. I really look forward to getting on the stage. And the only time that I might get, nervous playing for somebody if it's like a one-on-one thing. I'm not crazy about that. I thrive with like 40,000 people, but
Yeah.
one-on-one, that's, I really like having a band behind me too. A lot of times when we do the duo thing, I'll at least bring a fiddle player with me or someone that can carry a rhythm so that I can play some lead and we can switch off to make it interesting.
Yeah, no, I get it. Do you teach music at all?
I don't. I've had a lot of wonderful people around me showing me things over the years, like Reggie Young was a mentor of mine. His discography looks like a phone book. And Red Lane was a huge musical influence on me. He's a Hall of Fame songwriter that wrote Miss Emily's Picture. He had 42 Merle Haggard cuts, and Red showed me a lot of moves on a gut string guitar, and I stole a lot of licks from Reggie over the years, and he showed me quite a few too. You work with these wonderful players in the studio, and then you got to go home and learn all those studio licks, and it really takes your playing to a different level. But in the last couple of years, I've really been learning a lot from Willie Nelson. The guy is, a very underrated guitar player. He's a stylist, and I kind of lean more towards that style, and I just really appreciate his talent.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Tell us about your songwriting process.
A lot of times I'll start with a premise. I don't write premises that don't just knock me down. I hang on to that energy, kind of like it's a river flowing through time. And if you save up your energy, you can reach out there and catch that fish and match it. And if you don't, if you write everything that comes floating down that river, when the big one comes along, you're not going to have the energy to summon what you need to throw down on that piece of material. So I really don't write on something unless it just really knocks me over. And then when I do, a lot of times the whole thing will just show up with the time measure and the key and the arrangement. And all I do is I do my best to try to get out of the way, just to get out of my own way and let it show up and happen.
I've learned this the hard way. The less I think, the more stuff sounds better. I tend to be very analytical and very sometimes too perfectionist, and or sometimes I experiment way too much. And you know how it is. You do something and then you come back to it a day or a week later and you're like, oh my God, this is crap. What was I thinking? So sometimes resting your ears and coming back to something helps a lot.
One thing that really helped me, Red Lane put me on this page. There's quite a few lessons that I learned from Hank Cochran, and Red Lane were probably my two biggest songwriting influences, and I lived with them for years and wrote a lot of songs with them. And not many people have written a lot of songs with Red Lane. Scotty Emmerich, Hag, Hank Cochran wrote a lot with Red, and Max D. Barnes, who I was able to write with. And some of the things they taught me, like Red would teach me that you don't ever interrupt the creative process. When the creativity shows up, you just get out of the way. You don't put that editing hat on until it's time to put it on. And that really has saved a lot of pieces of material over the years.
Tell us about this song we're going to hear. What inspired this one?
Oh, well, we were in a petroleum club one night with some pretty high roller guys, and we just sat down, and there was a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader hosting us, kindly enough, and she came to get our drink order, and I'm not a big drinker, man. I'll just get something and set it in front of me and sip on it, and the guys ordered their drinks, and I ordered a Texas whiskey, and I won't tell you what brand, and she came out and got our order, and I had ordered it with no ice, straight up neat. And when she took the order, before she walked away, I asked her, I said, hey, please, no ice in that. And she goes, I got you. And then she walked away, and the boy said, Danny, you don't think she heard you? I said, I know she didn't hear me. Did you see her eyes? And they said, no, man, she got it. I said, no, she didn't. And one of the guys said, how much you want to bet? And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll pick up your entire drink tab tonight if I'm wrong. And if I'm right, you guys just get my drink. And they said, well, that's a fair deal. So she came back and she put everybody's drink on the table, and mine had a big ball of ice in it. And I held it up and showed him, and she goes, oh my God, was I not supposed to put ice in it? And I said, give it to me straight, baby. And that that idea right then. I had a show the next day, and I went back to the bus that night, and I was going to get ready to travel. So, I was putting the slides in on the coach and getting everything going, and I scratched that thing down, and I thought, give it to me straight, just like Texas whiskey. And I'll just write a few notes so I don't lose the premise, you know? So I
Yeah.
was just fill in the blanks just real quick and write some notes, and the whole thing just fell out. I wrote it that night, and I've changed 2 words in the song since I wrote it. I've taken 2 words out of it.
That's awesome. That's a really cool story, man. All right. Tell you what, let's check it out, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, everybody, here we go.
Lately something's changing, can't get nothing past me. I can feel it in the air, babe, hear it rustle in the leaves. There's a counterfeit wind blowing, and there's talk on the street. When you crave the taste of love, nothing else is good enough for you and me. Give it to me straight, don't water it down. It wouldn't be our way to keep anything coming up short, hanging around. Only true ways love will do. Any other kind that's way too risky. Give it to me straight. Oh, give it to me straight. Just like Texas whiskey. Never could be. I know it mean everything to you. Please know your love means so much more to me. Sometimes a girl just needs to hear it, shout it from the mountaintops. So baby, please just tell me that we got now what I know that we've got. Give it to me straight, don't water it down. It wouldn't be our way to keep anything coming up short, hanging around. Only fortune I will do. Bootleg love is way too risky. Give it to me straight. Oh, give it to me straight. Just like Texas whiskey. She said, baby, I know you know I wouldn't want anyone else. Just grab on tight, hold on to me, girl, need you all to myself. Give it to me straight, don't water it down. It wouldn't be our way to keep anything coming up short, hanging around. Only fortune I'll do. Bootleg love is way too risky. Give it to me straight. Give it to me straight, just like Texas whiskey. Oh, 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 no X's, just O's. I'm lost forever, girl, just like Texas whiskey.
Well, thank you for sharing that song, man.
Absolutely. We're getting ready to drop it on Monday. We just had great news. Town Square Media picked up the song, and a lot of times, you know, we had a big hit on the last single called Angelina. Angelina went top 10 media base and top 20 Billboard. And just to put things in perspective, the man that runs the Billboard chart told me that the last indie that's cracked that nut has been about 25 years. So we were very, very fortunate that that thing went up there that high. And I still don't know how it happened, but a lot of times the big conglomerates won't come on board until you're well into the record. And because of the success of Angelina and they like the song, they're going to pick it up this Monday.
That's very cool, man. One of the questions I like to ask a lot of people on the show is about scams. How do we avoid scams or getting ripped off? It's happened to all of us. Any insight you can give the listeners?
Well, I guess that depends on what you mean by scams, but I'll tell you a couple things that I don't do. I've had songs stolen in these big songwriter clubs, since we're talking to songwriters out here. So I usually will only play you're so excited when you write a song and you want to play it, especially for an audience that matters, like some of these songwriter things, like the famous ones in Nashville, like Bluebird or what have you. And I highly do not recommend playing anything in those clubs unless you've already released it and it's been out and everybody will know it's your song and your premise. Because you can't copyright a hook. They can just take your premise and rewrite it. And the other thing that some of my big Hall of Fame songwriter buddies taught me, and it was Max D. Barnes that taught me this. He said, Danny, I know you're in a hurry to write a lot of, I've written over 1,000 songs now. And back then in that day, that was a long time ago. And, I was trying to get that number up so I could impress somebody for some reason. He said, don't be in a hurry to go register these things on BMI or CSAC or whoever you're with, because someone can mine your catalog. They can look through it and read your premise, read your song title and rewrite your song title. So I did not put anything on BMI or put that title out there until I've cut it. I go in the studio and record it and give it to me straight. Just registered that song just a couple months ago with BMI. And before that, it wasn't out there and on there. So nobody could mine my catalog.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. That's interesting, kind of scary, but, it is what it is, man. How do you measure success in your music career?
Boy, I think that's really changed over the years, hasn't it? Now we have AI, which scares the heck out of me, and I'm not into AI. I don't use AI. I don't believe in it. As long as we're on a songwriter show talking about songwriters, I don't think you're a songwriter if you're using AI. I really don't. I think that the premise needs to come from you and wherever creativity is from that hands it to you, not a computer. You don't know who that is or where that creativity is coming from, but it ain't you. So, I'm sorry I kind of got off on a tangent there, but a measure of success, I guess that the songs do well. Songwriters want to leave a legacy and leave their songs behind, and kind of like children, you bring them up, put them out there in the world, and hope they do well. And hopefully they'll be around a lot longer than we will.
Yeah, absolutely. What song of yours do you think best represents you as an artist right now today?
Well, I did a duet with Waylon Jennings called "At the Crossroads," and I have lived that song multiple times through the years. We're getting ready to drop it, to put it out there. I've never put it out there. I've got a video with Waylon on it, and it's about not selling your soul at the crossroads. And there's plenty of ways to do that nowadays. That's kind of a song about not selling out, and it's also a song about paying your dues.
If one of your songs was a movie, what genre would it be?
It'd be an outlaw western, probably.
Do you celebrate when you release a new song or album?
Just, by myself.
All right.
I don't go out on the town or nothing like that, but it feels good when you get one out there and hit a lick with it. Like Angelina, that song felt really good to see that thing climbing up the chart and have as much success as it has had. I can't say I've done any celebrating about it, though. I'm just happy that it has gone where it's gone.
Do you have an ideal superpower?
I do have some gifts. I write songs in my sleep, okay? I don't know if a lot of people do that, but Hank Cochran did it, and he's one of the only guys that I ever met that did that. Sometimes I have deja vus that will happen, when I'm awake, and I'll be able to tell people what's going to happen next. And I've learned not to do that over the years because it ripples out like a pond, and it'll change. But sometimes I'll see things that are about to happen. And I guess the other thing I could tell you is I've got a connection with horses.
What was your first job?
I don't know if I can think back that far. I guess working my dad's yard.
Yeah.
Out there building fence.
Is there an item you have to have when you're recording? Something in the space or some kind of good luck charm or anything?
Sometimes I'll bring certain guitars to the session depending on what the material is. I've got a 67 Martin gut string that I love to have in the studio that I play my songs with to communicate with the band. I don't record like a lot of other people do nowadays. I record like it's 1964, and we go into the room with 6 or 7 musicians and record on 2-inch tape. So I like to have a couple guitars with me to try to communicate the premise and the idea and the feel of the song. And then You know, a lot of the guys that I ran around with, when it come time to do your vocals, there's a certain microphone that you'll lock into in your career over the years. And for mine, it's a 49.
Do you have like a go-to comfort snack that you like to eat when you're watching a movie or something?
You're probably going to laugh at me on this, but I've really gotten into eating grapefruits lately, I guess because it's so hot.
Grapefruits, okay.
Yeah, I just love those things. I don't eat sugar. You know, when you're a kid coming up, I didn't really like citrus because the sugar had ruined my taste buds. But now that I don't eat sugar, I love citrus. Just can't get enough of it. And I just love grapefruits. It's probably my favorite thing right now.
That's interesting because I was into grapefruit when I was in high school. My mom said, "Oh, it's good for you." So I would eat one a day and stuff, or, you know, like cut in half, maybe eat half a day.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. I haven't had a grapefruit in many years.
I think it is. It's supposed to lower your pH balance because it tricks your body, and you put all that acid in you before you go to bed, and it'll lower your pH balance, and that's supposed to save your arteries.
I'm sure it's not bad for you. I couldn't tell you specifics, but, you know, I think eating any fruit or vegetable is probably pretty healthy for you. I want to thank you for being on the show. Before we let you go, tell us, where can people buy your stuff, stream it? Where can they find out about you online?
Well, it seems social media is a thing now and a big deal. And I do have quite a few people follow me, thank God, on Instagram. I just launched a TikTok page. You could sure help me out and go to Danny Griego on TikTok and Instagram. That's Griego. I have not released Give It To Me Straight yet, so we don't know exactly what distribution that we're going to put that out on. We're talking to a couple of the labels on that right now. You can go to DannyGriego.com, and it'll have a landing page for Angelina and Give It To Me Straight, and it'll take you right to the song.
Awesome, man. I want to thank you for being on the show tonight, dude.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me out. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. And thank you to all the listeners for spending a little bit of your precious time with the two of us tonight. We hope your amazing story also gets heard around the world. And if you're an artist with a story to share, please go to songwritershow.com and send us an email. I hope you'll join us every single Tuesday evening on Reality Radio 101 to uncover all these inspiring journeys behind real music. Till then, please keep writing, creating, and connecting, and I'll see you next week. I love you all. Have a great night.
I want to go there now.
I used to close down every bar, wake up with numbers on my arm, shotgun beers on the roof of my Jeep. Now I'm scraping goldfish out of my seats, and I'm dreaming of more than 4 hours of sleep. Still got the devil in my bones. Now my joints creak louder than my headphones. I used to be wild, I used to be young. First one in, last one done. Oh man, I used to be fun. I used to be loud, ran straight into the sun. I ain't saying I'm done, but man, I used to be fun. My jeans got tight in odd places. The kids packed up and moved on out. I miss when the messages didn't last past the night. Now every room echoes and it doesn't feel right. Sometimes the silence cuts more than the fight. Yeah, I still got the devil in my bones, but now it takes longer to rise above the throne. I used to be wild, I used to be young. First one in, last one done. Oh man, I used to be fun. I used to be loud, ran straight into the sun. I ain't saying I'm done, but man, I used to be fun. Making fun just looks different now. When the stars line up, I remember I sing out loud like I'm still the one. Dance in the kitchen like I'm 21. And just for a moment, I am still fun. I used to be wild, I used to be young. First one in, last one done. Oh man, I used to be fun. I used to be loud, ran straight into the sun. I to be fun. So much fun.
Thank you for listening to The Songwriter Show. To keep the momentum going, head over to www.songwritershow.com and join our free music community of artists, songwriters, and producers. That's www.songwritershow.com.